Good morning, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today I'm going to share with you some thoughts and reflections from the 6th chapter of the book of Galatians. Paul's letter to the Galatians, chapter 6. Interesting, just transition, let's put it that way. Galatians has been a very difficult letter. Paul didn't mess around. He jumped right in and talking to them about some harsh things and what they had done and what they shouldn't have done and all of that. And then right at the end of chapter 5, when he goes into the fruit of the Spirit and on into chapter 6, he kind of, I won't say backs off, but he adds a little bit of just a lighter touch maybe. With some things. He talks about what it is rather than chastising them for what they've done. He said, all right, here's what you can do. Let's make sure we take care of this. And here at the beginning of chapter 6, he says, if anyone's detected in a transgression, those of you who have received the Spirit, those who are spiritually mature, should restore to such a one in a spirit of gentleness. So there is a difference here in how you deal with someone who has sinned, someone who has stepped away, someone who has transgressed. There are times and places when we need to stand up and shout, hey, look at this. But too oftentimes that's our go-to response. When we see someone doing something we don't think is right, or we think they've transgressed or sinned, then we get up and say, hey, can you believe they're doing this? And we go on and on about them, realizing that as we point one finger that way, 3 more are pointing back at us. So if you are spiritually mature, moving on, if you have the Spirit, then start with a spirit of gentleness. And then he says, take care you yourself are not tempted. Be careful there. Bear one another's burdens. So he kind of goes back and forth. He says he's given us an honest assessment of how to deal with someone who sinned. He says, you want to restore them. Do so gently. Be careful you're not tempted. You don't fall into that same trap. But also, he said, I want you to understand we're called to bear one another's burdens. We're called to err on the side of grace for someone. We're called to, if you're going to work at restoring someone, if you're going to work with someone who's a baby Christian, if you're going to work with someone who's still growing and still, stumbling around, it's going to take time and effort on your part. It is. It's going to be a burden. Let's just be honest. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because you will be blessed because of that. He talks about what we will reap what we sow. If we sow in the flesh, if we sow our wild oats, we'll reap wild oats. But if we sow in the Spirit, we will reap in the Spirit. And he says, I love this, verse 9 says, so let us not grow weary in doing what is right, for we will reap at harvest time if we do not give up. There are times when we are doing right and we seem like we're the only ones doing right. And everything else around us is going someplace else and we feel like we're all alone. Keep on going. Keep on going, because if you are faithful, if you continue to do what is right, then in the right time, you will harvest. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Whenever we have an opportunity, let us work for the good of all, and especially those who are the family of faith. This is good stuff, and Paul goes on and says goodbye. He trying to, again, be truthful but loving at the same time. And I love verse 15, for neither circumcision nor uncircumcision is anything, but a new creation is everything. A new creation is everything. That's good news, friends. Take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.